evening, everyone, and welcome to another edition of the Best Damn Sports Show in Franklin County for Wednesday, May 23rd, 2018. I'm the Nighthawk, along with our studio director, Zach, and on the panel to my immediate right, my pal, Nick Mumley, and on my far right, my longtime friend, the Duke.
I remember you, huh?
It's been a while since you and I have done a TV show
by
together.
about a month, the longest time we have not done a show together.
It was sometime late March. You did your sojourn down to the Carolinas, and then I had a 3-week European trip.
And of course, they moved to our beautiful new digs out here in Franklin Park West.
Yep, my first show in the new facility. And last Wednesday night, I had a pretty good time. I went down to the Paramount Theater in Rutland.
Great theater, beautiful theater.
Yes, it's absolutely gorgeous. So I started my night out eating at 99.
Oh,
some
right?
nice chicken and some steak tips. That's probably my favorite corporate restaurant.
I think there's a 99 in Hingham. Yeah, 99.
There's a lot of 99s in New England. You can find them just about anywhere.
Yeah.
So, and of course, that was my dream when we got Walmart up here.
We did.
You know, you build it and they will come. And of course, we needed a Walmart, and of course, it succeeded extremely well from all the reports I've gathered.
Most surprising thing is the expectation was there'd be a Home Depot or Lowe's or somebody would jump in next to them. That surprised, I think, just about everybody.
Yeah, and nothing has come. Now, early on, I heard Aspen Dental, which is a big corporate dentistry, and a 120-seat unnamed restaurant would be coming up, assuming like an Applebee's or something like that.
Which you would think would fare pretty well, maybe.
Now,
definitely.
I don't do much shopping. My wife does, and I think she's probably the poster child of what's going on in this country.
Yeah.
We order probably 90% of our stuff right online.
Is that right?
You know, it could be like 1 o'clock in the morning in your jammies. Yeah. You're not dealing with crowds or this, that, and the other thing.
And I'm, of course, a dinosaur. I order basically nothing online. Give me not that I'm a big shopper, but if I need something, I'll go out. So we're up. But obviously, the future is you. The past is me.
Yeah, it's so convenient and instant there, and you don't have to get up or anything. So it does appeal to a lot of people.
Yeah.
But give me brick and mortar. I'm a hopelessly old-fashioned kind of guy.
And I think about that a lot. The days of brick and mortar may be behind us, kind of going in the way.
But again, just take Walmart. You're saying you were happy Walmart showed up, so it's not like you don't like having a brick and mortar choice.
No. Listen, my wife will order from Walmart.
Yeah,
and you get free deliveries.
And then you
$50 or more.
So why bother going in?
During our tax season, too, she'll make 3-4 deliveries a week.
Really?
I'm not kidding. Huh. Yeah. I mean, granted, where we live, I'm only a mile and a half away. But when I shop, I always know what I want. I go in, get it, and I get the heck out of there. And, I'm not the type of guy where Nick calls me up, hey, Nighthawk, let's go shopping Saturday. We'll do lunch and all this. No.
Believe it, don't get me wrong. I mean, I dislike shopping, but I still like having, if I need something, I still like having a store I can wander into. Yeah. And of course, I kill for libraries, great books I get, library book sales. So I'm glad there's brick and mortar out there.
Yeah. So, we'll get rolling. And not that I sent a memo. Boy, is that
pretty funny.
Curtain green on? Are they able to turn colors on this curtain?
I think. Keep watching. In fact, Nighthawk, what's behind you?
Oh, it's blue now. Wait, I have not done any LSD tonight. Okay, now did that just turn? Okay, now I'm not even going to pay attention to the show. I'm going to be watching the curtains. So
you got the green team tonight.
Yeah. So that was my point. I made no memo to tell these guys to wear green, wear some Celtic garb. But lo and behold, we're literally 2 hours away from tip-off tonight. And needless to say, and I'm sure you guys will agree, this is a must-win for the Celtics. Because
absolutely.
LeBron
in Cleveland
will put the death nail in them in what's today, Friday night.
There's no way the Celtics win.
If there's any must-win game, it's tonight.
Yeah.
So what do you think? I don't even have a good, if the Celtics fans were so psyched, 2 pretty easy wins. I mean, everybody seemed to be, was there one person out there who was holding on? with the Cavs, I don't really have any feel for this series now.
Well, if I had to put some money on it right now,
Go with
my
Celtics?
money would be on the Cavs.
Is that on the
Yeah,
Cavs?
they have the momentum. But the funny thing is, when you talk sports, like NHL playoffs, home ice advantage doesn't mean all that much.
Look
Yeah.
at the Caps Lightning series, first
Yeah.
4 games.
Yes.
So
The
this
road
is
team's
perfect
winning
one.
everyone or everything.
Yeah, perfect example.
Yeah.
So NBA, like the Celtics, look like they could beat God after the first 2 games.
Yeah.
And Cleveland, the third game, just wiped the floor with them.
I watched mostly hockey that night. I couldn't even watch the game.
And the other night, we got down
marginally. They got it back to within
quickly.
7.
Right.
But
Yeah.
But even
were-
during the first quarter,
yeah.
you knew the game was over.
Yeah.
So you felt the
Those
same
2
way.
games weren't really
Yeah.
even that close ever. So it's frustrating as a Celtics fan to see such a change from game 2 to game 3 and 4.
Yeah.
But I mean, hopefully that home court can really play into it today.
Yeah.
They can go in and have 2 chances to finish off the Cavs.
Yeah, like
in
I said,
game
that's
6
kind of
and
like
7.
status quo when you're playing on the road. It's just weird how teams just don't perform.
Yeah.
So, Nick, tonight's game, as I said, it's a must victory. Your gut is telling you, or your brain is telling you what tonight?
The Celtics are going to win, and I think
Is that
it's
a
gonna
guarantee?
be-
Can you look in the camera? Where's your camera?
whichever camera we're on, right
You're right there. Go. Are you giving a Nighthawk guarantee?
The Boston Celtics will win Game 5 tonight.
and
Guarantee it.
we'll win the series.
I
You're
think
giving
they
us a
will win the
guarantee
series.
About the
Yeah.
series.
I do think
Not
that I'm close. I'll give like a 90% guarantee that
Wow.
they win the series.
Yeah.
Oh, you're way ahead.
There's-
I mean, LeBron is just.
Well, LeBron's good, but I mean the Cavs there's it's such a difference when the home court has just made such a difference in every
far,
series so far.
So far,
And-
it has.
And I mean, if Boston, you look at it, even if this series goes the distance, they still have 2 games left at home.
Mm-hmm.
So, and they only need to win 2 games. So if they play up to the level that they did in games 1 and 2, which obviously they can.
And that right.
Yeah.
That-
I think
but
the
that's
series
the
will
big
be
if.
gone.
I just think LeBron's clicking on all 8 cylinders right now. And before I ramble on, you're too young to ask this question. Better player, Duke, Michael Jordan or LeBron
I
James?
think I've mentioned this on the show a number of times. I'm totally in LeBron's.
Yeah,
I think
so
it's
too.
LeBron too.
No,
I never got to
offense
see
to Michael
Jordan.
Jordan,
but,
a fellow
yeah.
UNC Chapel Hill alum. I think he can
LeBron did not have
Well-
the lieutenants like Michael Jordan. Of
And
course,
all he
had-
does, and all he does, I mean, his defense, I mean, his rebound. And no offense to Michael, but I think he can
Michael
easily
Jordan
make the case for LeBron.
had Scottie Pippen, Hall of Famer, and Dennis Rodman, the greatest
Great
defender.
rebounder.
He probably averaged like 7.5 points career-wise, but he always
Incredible
led the league.
rebounder.
This guy took so much pride in his defense, and he's
Rebounding.
a Hall of Famer
Yeah.
himself. And I'm trying to remember.
Mr. Kerr was on
Steve
some of
Kerr,
those teams. Right?
Paxton was on
Yep.
the team. Horace Grant, guys like that. So Chicago always had a pretty good team.
And LeBron has absolutely nothing right
Yeah.
now. I mean, Kevin Love is an average
I mean,
player.
Dave
at
Handy
best.
has told us many times, hey, LeBron could take us and win. Maybe a slight exaggeration. But,
Yeah. If you don't mind, if he takes us, I'd like to play on the second team with limited minutes. I'm not sure how many times I can get up and down the court anymore.
No, I mean, LeBron blows my mind.
Yeah.
So that's
Yeah,
why
he's the best player
I
to ever
feel
do it.
pretty good about the Celtics, but with LeBron there, some part of me just thinks, hey, LeBron will not let these guys, will
Yeah.
somehow not let the Cavs lose.
You know, it's some mind-boggling, and I remember when ESPN showing a high school game with LeBron at
Is that
age
right?
16
Yeah.
on the
Akron-
cover of
in
Sports
Akron, yeah.
Illustrated.
Yeah.
He's been in the league
Forever.
15 years.
Yeah.
And I'm talking hard miles.
Yeah.
You got to consider teams that don't make the playoffs. They're out by mid-April, and they're gone until training camp in October. LeBron makes the playoffs every year.
Yeah.
And was it?
It's like it would be his 8th straight year in the finals if he makes it this year. Like, that's
So
unbelievable.
he's
That's
going
unreal.
into June every year. Because I remember very well, and again, love you, man, but you won't remember this. So remember back in the 70s, Guy Lafleur, best
with
player
his hair, I love watching
of
him.
the
His
70s.
hair kind of flying
Yeah.
as he would be
The
flying.
flower.
down.
and the second best player was the little beaver, Marcel Dion.
Marcel Dion.
Now, I remember somebody very astute saying, Marcel Dion rarely ever made the playoffs, and they're always done by the first week of April.
Yeah.
Guy Lafleur, the Canadians back in the 70s at one point, won 4 straight Stanley Cups.
They were going deep
and
play
playing
from the
in
beginning.
Montreal versus where Dion played most of his career in LA was quite a difference. So somebody kind of put a footnote on that and say, boy, you really have to make a better comparison than that. So, but I'm very excited.
We got a caller here, it looks
Oh,
like.
we do?
Yeah.
Do we?
I think we're going to get a wave from
Oh, we
Zach.
do, we
Yeah,
do.
We do.
Yeah.
Great.
Good evening. You're the first caller tonight on the Best Damn Sports Show in Franklin County. Hello.
Hello, guys. It looks like I'm looking at 3 Celtic fans by the attire you're wearing.
You
That
got
would be accurate. You got it.
Yeah, well, they're looking good. I mean, they can certainly pick themselves up off the floor, brush off a little bit, and win. They're playing with the house's money as far as I'm concerned. And, they played well the last game. They got off to a slow start, but, they came back. Would they lose by 10 or so?
Yeah, 9. Yeah.
It was a good
So
job of
they-
them to stay in the game.
They missed some little bunny shots in that game, too. I mean, they didn't get outplayed terribly. So, I think they'll do okay. And, if it was the first week in the season after we had the injury to our big guy, a few told us we were going to be here at this time of the year, I think we'd all be shocked a little bit.
Yeah,
So,
for sure.
Especially
again,
with
it's
the
the
injuries.
house's
Yeah,
money.
yeah,
And
for sure.
and I think there's good that came out of the injuries, too, because I think it gave our young guys a lot more playing time, and we really got to see, how they progressed and, what they're going to be for the future. So, it's kudos to the young guys and to the whole team for, where they are.
Yeah, they've
for
really
sure.
done a good job.
For sure.
A little bit of baseball here, and I think I'm going to direct this to Nighthawk. I've been, there's already talk there, of course, we're American League East, about Manny Machado going to the Cubbies, where Addison Russell certainly will be one of the names involved, and which I think would be a good fit for both teams. Obviously Baltimore's in trouble. They put the King's ransom in on Chris Davis, and I think, I've watched him play a few times. He's got the Jackie Bradley syndrome, or vice versa. They swing and miss the ball by a foot. So, I think Baltimore will certainly be doing themselves a favor. Adam Jones will be gone at the end of the year, as well as a few others. So, looking at Bryce Harper, now I did a little bit of studying on him, and one amazing thing, this Juan Santo that came up for you guys. Juan Santo?
Soto. S-O-T-O. Juan Soto.
Soto.
You got to remember.
19 years old.
Yeah.
He's
Unreal.
Go ahead, Nighthawk.
He's got great plate discipline, Soto.
Yeah.
And this kid is what do you call it? I can't remember what I call him. Can't miss guy.
So this kid got a ton of it. And
Yeah.
been getting a lot of attention.
To backstory this, the Nationals, there were 5 games over 500, but they lead the majors in 12 guys on the DL. They have been ravaged with injuries. There's no way Soto ever would have came up. But their number one guy that anybody that follows baseball is Victor Robles. Because Roland Acuna, who Atlanta brought up in late April and playing pretty well. It was between Robles and Acuna who the best minor league prospect was. But Robles hyperextended his elbow, and he's out for a few months. And just like the Celtics, the Nats had all kinds of injuries, and no way Soto was going to be coming up to play. Well, he's up, and now that they've burned a year of eligibility, you're not going to sit a 19-year-old kid on the bench. So he is going to get a ton of playing time. Yeah, like Adam Eaton.
And it's playing time well earned.
So far, he's...
Is he jumping in? Sorry, Hawk, because of an injury? Or
Adam Eaton. And I always remember this. The Nats had Chris Sale. I was on vacation, and the little blurb on ESPN, Nats finalizing trade for
Really?
Chris Sale.
Is that right?
And I am going nuts. And my wife, Leonard Parent, just walked in the studio. My wife says, "What are you getting all crazy for?" I said, "Are you kidding me?" Chris Sale's on the Nats. And we offered, at the time, the top minor league prospect, and I'm sure the caller will say this guy turned into a bum, Lucas Giolito. And the other pitcher was Ronaldo Lopez, who's pitching extremely well for a very bad White Sox ball club. So we didn't get Sale. Red Sox the following morning, Dombrowski.
Yeah, and I remember that
With
it reacted the
Jan
same
Makata.
exact way.
Wow.
And Michael Chopek, I think, is the pitcher,
Yeah, I think you got
who
it.
has yet to come up.
Well, he's yet to come up, but he can throw like 105 miles per hour.
So we made the trade a few days later to get Adam Eaton. If you know baseball, Adam Eaton's a throwback player.
Yep.
Okay, he got injured last year, missed the year, April 23rd. This year, he played 8 games injured, and we haven't seen him. We don't know when he's coming back. So that's been a real down buzz. The other big players, among all the players, is Daniel Murphy, that regularly hits 330 with 25 home runs, 100 RBIs. He hasn't played at all, and we don't know when he's coming back. So, long story short, which is probably too late, Soto had an opportunity to come up and play, and playing really well. Now, I have some questions for the caller. Bryce Harper is hitting in the 230s, but he is leading the National League in home runs and around 5th, 6th in RBIs. He'll get his batting average
Quick
up.
question, Hawk. Who would you rather take? Would you rather
Manny
have-
Machado.
Oh, well, I'm throwing somebody out. Would you rather have your guy, Bryce Harper, or my guy, Mookie Betts? Who do you think's a better ball player?
Gosh,
Tough,
I would
tough
take
call.
either one,
tough,
1A,
yeah.
1B.
Yeah.
But Manny Machado, okay, I did not realize this today. He's only 25 years old, just like Bryce Harper.
Yeah.
Because
He's been
that
up
was
since
the
he was
big
21
number
doing
for
this kind of
Harper.
stuff.
Harper turns 26 in October.
Really? Yeah.
Manny turns 26 on July 6th.
Really?
I'm invited to his party. So caller, with the Baltimore Orioles literally having the worst record in baseball, they can lose just as many games without having Manny on the team. When do you expect to see Manny traded? Why wait until July 31st? Because his value here on May 23rd
you can't wait till then.
is a lot greater. I mean, Manny Machado is, and I've got my stats right here. Hang on just, okay. Machado, 3rd in batting average in the American League, 335. He's 3rd in home runs, 15, one behind Mookie. Runs batted in, he's leading the league with 43. I mean, he's a legit Triple Crown winner. Bobby's still there. I put Machado ahead of Bryce Harper just because I put a heck of a lot more value on an infielder than I do an outfielder.
Oh, yeah. And that defensive ability's got to really play into that, too.
Absolutely. So, caller, Manny, when's he going to go, and how much is he going to sign for next year? Is he going to hit the $400 million plateau next season?
No, I don't think anybody's going to hit that. I really don't. And again, I don't think, in my opinion, you'll see anything up until the All-Star break deadline, because what teams like to do is to get their players in a bidding war with other teams so they can really capitalize. If you put them out there right now, you may have one team nibbling. You bring it to the All-Star break, you may have 3 or 4 teams nibbling, and you'll take whatever best is thrown at you out of those 3 or 4 teams. But Machado's doing this with nobody hitting around him. Mancini leads off. He's having an average year. Scope, the second baseman, just came back from injuries. He's not doing really anything. You go right down the lineup. Chris Davis is all but a ghost. And you go down through, and Adam Jones is having a regular Adam Jones year, but he's not protected. And Machado's putting bad pitches out of the ballpark. So I really give him the edge on anybody, and I put him in the Mike Trout category. Now, getting to Bryce Harper, I put him one step below. One thing is, outfielders, it's easier to get a good outfielder than a real good shortstop.
Yep, easy.
Machado can play any place in the infield. He's versatile. Again, he's hitting with no protection in the lineup. But I was doing a little research. We were talking at work about Bryce Harper today. And I said, okay, yeah, he's leading in home runs. But, his average is 230. Where are you when I need you? Where are you when there's one person on base to move along? And I said, I want to see how he is in the clutch. So I did a little research and looked up his playoff numbers. He has been up 87 times at bat during the playoffs the last 4 years, batting a paltry 184 with 4 home runs, 4 doubles, 4 stolen bases, and 23 strikeouts. So what I'm looking at, as we say a lot from the old days, Atlanta Braves were always a great team, but they never did nothing in the playoffs. And this is the mirror image I'm getting of Bryce Harper.
Yeah.
Somewhat. I mean, the stats are 87 at-bats, and, the stats are what they are.
Yeah.
So, okay, I am the general manager of the Nationals. 100% he is going to be leaving. There's no way we're going to sign him. You've got Robo. You've got Soto. Michael Taylor plays out there as well in the outfield.
Yeah, he's hitting about 182.
Yeah.
He's Jackie Bradley's twin brother. He's an exceptional defensive outfielder, but he's just not hitting. But let me say this about Bryce, and I'm not defending him, nor will he be on Washington next season. But with all those injuries, he hasn't had much protection behind him, and I certainly can't disagree with the facts on the his playoffs. As the window closes on the Washington Nationals, you look back, they never won a series.
Yeah.
Caller, I take
right
exception.
Now, you guys,
Caller, I take extreme exception to 14 straight division titles, 5 World Series, 5 World Series appearances.
How many wins?
1 win. But 5. We were in over a third of the World Series for 14 straight division titles. Something that'll probably never happen again in the history of baseball. So I flew in here by charter when I heard that. Nobody can get from Elm Street to here that quick when I heard such a sacrilege.
But caller, I agree with you because Leonard and I.
Okay. Anyways, back to Bryce Harper. You guys are in a situation. You got a lot of young, great players, and Bryce Harper is going to walk 100%.
Yeah.
So you guys have got to take a realistic look at your team within the next month and kind of say, do we have what it takes to win the World Series? And you guys got to be honest with yourself. Right now, it's definitely no.
Oh, listen.
You're buried in third
The
place.
injuries
And I know you
play
have
into that,
injuries,
too.
but every team deals with injuries.
Listen,
my point is here, you guys, go ahead, Nighthawk.
We're only 3 games out of first place. We play the division leader, Atlanta, next week. I have no.
Yes, but you
The pitching.
You didn't hear what I asked you.
Their starting pitching, caller, has a 2.92 overall ERA, leads by a lot in the National League.
Yeah, but they're so beat up for everywhere.
They are beat up right now. And just stay close. And once these guys, Eaton will be coming back sometime. Daniel Murphy will be coming back. Now, as far as the future for the Nats, it's quite simple. Soto's going to be playing left field next year, and Victor Robles is going to be the right fielder, and Adam Eaton will be the center fielder. The Nationals do not have a good minor league system right now. We have nothing at all for pitching. The only thing we have these 2 young studs in the outfield, so there's zero concern right there.
That's why you've got to decide right now about what you want to do.
Let me ask my question here.
Sure.
Do you think Bryce Harper, with his track record, is going to bring you to the promised land? His stats are not good, and if you guys could trade him and get a busload of good prospects, with the prospects you have right now, with Soto, with Robo, with Trey Turner and stuff, I see a very quick turnaround for the Nationals.
Yeah, that's going to be the best thing that they can do. I mean, you look at it, they've got all these injuries. If that keeps up by the trade deadline, the Nationals are still hanging around, but it's not in a place where they can go out and win a World Series against the teams in the American League.
I don't think they'll be hanging around by the All-Star. They'll be in first place. Daniel Murphy's a free agent after the season. He will be gone. This could be our last opportunity.
Right.
Now, the three best teams in baseball, you pick who they are: Houston, Boston, and New York Yankees. So whoever goes into that World Series in the National League will certainly be an underdog. No question about that. There are no super teams in the National League to speak of. The future teams are Atlanta Braves, Philadelphia Phillies. But Washington has kind of one last gasp, and I think once Robles and Soto get a couple years on the belt. But again, you can't take away from the pitching. They have the best pitcher in baseball, future Hall of Famer Max Scherzer. Steven Strasburg is a great pitcher. Now, let me get back to Harper. The worst number he has, caller, and this is why I personally would not sign him. He's only played 140 games twice in his 6-year career. He's an injury-riddled player. At age 25, he'll be 25 at the end of the season. He's going to. Scott Boras is going to expect minimum a 10-year contract, which only brings him to 35. The negative side is Red Sox don't need an outfielder. The Yankees don't need an outfielder. Dodgers don't really need an outfielder.
No, the Red Sox are paying mega buck. Their salaries way over the limit anyway.
I think I wouldn't be surprised to see the Yankees go after him anyway, just because.
I heard he does not want to play in New York.
I can't with the guys they have. Why do they want to spend a ton of money? They're not going after him.
Yeah.
I wouldn't think.
I mean, you've got to look at it.
So I guess my question is, Nighthawk, what would you do? Would you keep him, or would you trade him? Would you try to get a lot of young prospects? Or would you try to go the distance with him and let him walk?
Oh, like I said, this is our last opportunity to make the World Series. Listen, we haven't even won a playoff series, let alone make it to the World Series.
And that's my point. You guys don't do well. And I know you're 2-3 games out of first, but what is your record?
Because of the injuries. I'm telling you, we've been devastated. Anthony Rendon, one of the best third basemen in baseball, has missed half the season. We'll be fine, and I certainly will do my Nighthawk guarantee by saying they will win that division this year. And when playoff time comes, they have no history of winning. So, I'll keep my big mouth shut come October.
I mean, you look at it, like you said, they don't have the history of winning. You've got those three big powerhouses in the American League. It's going to be unlikely for them to get there anyway. I think the worst possible thing that you could do is sit there and let Harper walk after losing in the first round of the playoffs again. Because, like you said, they don't have a minor league system. They trade him, they get 4 big-time prospects for him, which they probably can. And then, I mean, you're probably not going to win the World Series this year, but you're set for the future. And then maybe when those powerhouse teams have died down a little bit, you've got a chance to really come up and have a good squad.
If I had Manny Machado on my team, I would do everything to re-sign him. Harper is going to walk. I'll tell you one team that is going to push really hard, and they're on the upstart, the Philadelphia Phillies.
Yeah.
As I mentioned, Philadelphia and Atlanta are kind of the two upcoming teams.
Yeah, and they've built themselves up from the ground.
Would I like to keep Harper? Sure. There are two teams over the salary cap right now. Red Sox are over by about $25 million. And the Nats, are the other team by a couple $1 million. Yeah. Now, come season end, any trades, that could be prorated where they don't.
Even the Yankees are under
and
now.
The Dodgers are under. But if just say, and he'll get at least $30 million a year, Harper. Yeah. I don't think the Nationals want to have a salary payroll that high.
Yeah,
and again, Robles has to play next year, and Soto's going to be playing
yeah.
next year. Now, I would rather take that money and go for Machado, but we really don't need an infielder.
Yeah.
The thing about the Nats, and again, I realize they're 3 games out, only 4 games over 500, but despite all the leading injuries, 12 on the DL, we're playing okay. Starters are 2.92 ERA.
Yeah.
There's not a better starting. Well, I guess Houston might argue with me.
How's their bullpen?
Bullpen is shaky, just like
And
last year.
that's another reason
Yeah,
why the
that's-
World Series might be out of reach for them.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, in the long run, you've got to look at it as is the risk worth the reward? Because, I mean, chances are you look at this team that doesn't have a history of winning in the postseason, and you pretty much know Harper is going to walk. And like I said, the last thing you want to do is to either miss the playoffs or go out without another in the first round again, and then have Harper leave. Then you're stuck with pretty much nothing.
Yeah. Yeah, I just think they're keeping. I mean, I know
Leonard, you
Harper.
must be walking on the clouds, huh, with the Braves?
Well,
you're doing okay,
I'm going to be in Fenway Friday night. I'm going to take my son
Braves
to the Braves game, and I'm very disappointed because they've moved Sean Newcomb's start to Saturday now. I got to watch Julio Teheran, but I get to watch the other good young players. And anyway, Sean Newcomb's an interesting character. He was the 15th overall pick in round 1 in 2014 by the Los Angeles Angels. He's a Brockton, Mass. native. He signed for $2.5 million. He went to the Hartford University. He really sucked his first 2 years there. Then he got hot, and they drafted him number 15 overall in 2014. We got him in the Andrelton Simmons trade, and we sent probably the best defensive shortstop at that time to the Angels, and we got this Sean Newcomb guy who's about 6'3", 6'4", 250 pounds, and he really is an up-and-comer. He really is. And the Braves, I look at their farm teams every morning on the internet, and you can't believe how stacked they are on the mound. They have so many pitchers down there.
Oh,
It
they're
unbelievable.
dangerous.
It is
They're very
unbelievable.
dangerous.
Really?
Nobody told these kids they're supposed to lose.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
watched a bit of them on Sports Center the other day. One of the guys slid into home safe. They had that big comeback too, a 6-run in the
6-run
ninth
comeback
inning
with
the other
2
day.
outs,
And,
not an extra
I mean,
base hit.
these kids are pumped. You look
Well,
in the dugout, they look like a college team.
Oh, well, I was going to even go better than that. It's like a Little League team. You get Acuna and Albies, they kind of give each other noogies. I mean, it is just, I'm glad I lived this old to see this. This is enjoyable. I don't
Well,
think
you know what it
I
is,
don't think
Leonard,
they'll
what I
hold
like?
up.
It's good to see old-fashioned baseball.
Yeah. I don't think they'll
You know, when
hold
the
up this
players
year.
give 110% when they're excited to play.
Right. I think actually, even though their offense has been great, good pitching still will shut them down. And their pitching is up and coming, and it still may be a year or two away from really being super. But tonight, Luis Gohara is going for Atlanta. He came over from Seattle. He's a left-handed pitcher that weighs about 265 pounds from Brazil. And he has arguably the best stuff of anybody on their staff. This guy has got great stuff, 98, 99. He's got a 12-6 curveball, got a slider, and he is fun to watch. It'll be interesting to see how he does tonight against Philadelphia. But the Phillies have great starting pitching. They have a great bullpen, but their hitting is kind of nonchalant. I'm not impressed at all with their hitting.
But as I
Philadelphia.
mentioned, from what I hear, is they're going all in for Harper.
Yeah, well, why not?
Yeah.
And but if the Braves win tonight, this will be the 4th series they've played with Philadelphia, and they'll have won all 4 of them.
Yeah.
And they don't see Philadelphia again until September.
Yeah. Trust me, I will be the biggest Boston Red Sox fan this weekend.
Oh, I'm sure. I'm sure. And I just want to go down and watch them in first place.
Yep.
They'll be in first place Friday night.
You
regardless
got
of what happens
good
tonight.
seats?
4 rows from the field, just past the Red Sox dugout.
And I'm not-
How'd you get the tickets?
StubHub.
Okay, and I'm not shy. Hey, Leonard, how
Can I
much
ask
did
you how
pay
much
for
you
them?
I
spent?
paid, with the fee, it was $230 for 2 tickets.
That's
That's
pretty
about,
cheap.
that's
bad,
about
yeah.
what I would have guessed.
Yeah.
That's not bad
Pretty
at all.
cheap.
Yeah, it wasn't bad. No, it wasn't bad at all. But
Right time.
I'm disappointed Newcomb's got pushed back a
Oh,
bit.
yeah.
I wanted to see him pitch, as I said, a Brockton,
Yeah,
Mass
that's too bad.
native, pitching in front of the home crowd. And
Can
Yeah.
you tell me a fairly famous guy out of Brockton, Mass?
a boxer.
A boxer.
It comes to mind. I know it's a boxer.
And then about Rocky Marciano.
Yeah, I knew it was a boxer. I just couldn't remember.
Brockton, the Shoe City.
Now,
And,
Leonard, has the
I-
attendance been up a little bit in Atlanta?
What's that again?
That's a good question.
What's the question?
Has the attendance at the ball game been good?
Oh,
Minute Park?
the Braves?
severely.
Really?
Oh, they're way up.
No, is that right?
I mean, they're probably averaging over 30,000 a game.
Are they really?
Oh yeah. Oh
wow.
God, yeah. They're a hot item.
And the good thing about Atlanta, they pulled a dumb move a few weeks ago by signing Grandpa Jose Batista.
Yeah,
but
he's gone.
They got the
He's gone, right?
realization.
Yeah.
We got all
Minor
these.
league
No,
contract.
Paid
right.
nothing.
Which is they gave nothing, but they got all these kiddies, and John Camargo will get more.
Well, they got this kid Austin Riley
Yeah.
at AAA.
But Ozzy Albies, you have
He's
second
an
year.
Altuve.
He's a second-year player.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it wasn't even, he just, I saw his debut last year. I was at SunTrust Park and I called your show. I saw him make his debut August 1st against the Dodgers last year.
Yeah.
That's when he was called up, August 1st
Now,
last year.
here's the second baseman. He's got second-year player. He's got 14 home runs, one behind Harper, and he's tied with Harper in fourth place for RBIs with 34, four out of the
A
top.
lot of categories he's
Right.
first in.
Second baseman, you're getting that offensive output. That's
Oh, yeah. And I didn't think he was that good.
and Nick Markakis, who I
Well, it's a contract year.
pounded on,
Contract.
where you have a right fielder that hits 7-8 home runs a
Professional
year.
hitter, professional hitter.
But this year he's
He's a professional, always has been a
sure,
professional.
great defender, but it's got a
Toughest
little.
guy to strike out in the major league. I think one every 11 something that bad.
So Leonard, I have nothing against Atlanta, and I'm sure this caller will echo my sentiments. Back in the extreme early 80s, when TBS came aboard the superstation, we had no baseball, and everybody's second favorite team quickly
Atlanta.
became the Atlanta
America's
Braves.
team, thanks to Ted Turner. Yeah,
Oh, yeah, those were the good days. I love that team there. Oh, Bruce Benedict, Rafael Ramirez. You know,
Glenn-
you
Well, we
had
went
Dale
worse.
Murphy, you had Bob
Yeah.
Horner.
Yeah, Horner.
Then
Horner.
Claudel Washington came along a little bit later, but these guys were
Yep.
they could be behind by 10 runs, and the announcers kept you into every pitch of every inning. You know,
that
they
was
were
Horner.
very positive.
Had Horner had a a good physique,
Exactly.
if he was an athlete, he could have been in the Hall of Fame. I think
Yep.
he was that good a hitter. I mean, but his body, he looked like a bag of laundry. I mean, he really did. And when they brought him up out of college, he looked like a bag of laundry.
Yeah.
But that man could hit. That man could hit.
Okay, I'm going to let you guys go, and give the gentleman in the back there a chair to sit on.
Okay.
Oh no, this is a quick cameo. Not many people could pull this off, I know, but especially with an engineer I've never met before. But Zach was good about it. Appreciate it, Zach. And I have a question for this is young Mr. Mumley, I believe, here, right?
Mr. Nick
Wait,
Mumley.
Yeah,
let's
yeah.
thank you.
I
Thank you,
have- this
caller.
is-
Nick, Mr. Leonard Parent.
Oh,
behind
we've
here.
met. This is a question only for Mr. Mumley because you guys will get it. But I was taking pictures tonight at Missisquoi, and I had 3 different teams, and I asked every team, including the coaches.
What teams did you do
I
tonight?
did varsity baseball, softball, and 7th girls softball.
Did you see my son-in-law,
Oh,
Roy?
absolutely, sure. He was in the picture,
sure.
and he didn't know the answer to this either. If you look at my hat, take a look at my hat. You see it. You
Good
see it.
looking hat, Mike.
Okay.
I like that hat.
What really classic movie did the 2 main characters wear a hat like this? Any idea? Well, you guys.
How about Robert Redford?
Not yet.
and
No,
Rob-
not yet. No. I want to let Mr. Mumley see if he's ever
I've
seen the
no idea.
movie.
I'm not really a big film guy.
No, nobody got this tonight. But come on, look at the hat.
Paul Newman and Robert Redford. One of their
come
flicks.
on. 1982.
1982.
Actually, a classic movie, full of songs, full of hit songs. A lot of artists. Ray Charles, Aretha Franklin was in it.
the
Cat Calloway.
Blues Brothers?
The Blues Brothers.
Yeah.
They wore hats like this.
Yeah.
Yeah, I probably should have gotten that.
Yeah, the Blues Brothers. They wore hats. John Aykroyd and Belushi, James Belushi. Yeah, that's a movie you ought to catch sometime. You'd love it. It's a real classic, movie.
Yeah, I should have gotten that.
I won't keep you. What other thing? I wanted to mention this. I was talking again the last couple of days with people about this, and you got to thank Latin ball players. They've saved MLB. Without the Latin ball players, the quality of play in Major League Baseball is quite diminished.
We're getting close to 1/3 of Major League players.
thinking-
Is that right?
No, it's right around 30%.
Well, it's gonna be
And
I
black
checked-
players are under 10%. We're talking
Oh,
like 7
the
or
last
8%
time I
or
checked was at
something?
7%. Back in 1972, the African American player, which dominated all the All-Stars. They're all black players. It was like 27.5%.
Is that right?
And we've talked about this before. The African Americans simply don't find baseball that exciting. It's,
Well, they don't really have the opportunity to play.
well, you need a lot of players, but of course, obviously, basketball is their number one sport, and football.
But in these Latin countries, baseball is like what it was in America 50, 60 years ago.
But even
they
more so.
love it. They love their baseball. in
But
those
they
countries.
can play 12 months a year.
No, not only that, though. They love it, like we did. I went to a Little League game the other night. I won't tell you where. I left after 10 minutes.
Really?
It was just, compared to when I played a Little League, and I'm not knocking any individuals here. It is what it is. I mean, there are some good young ball players out there.
But for the quality of play
Oh
was
yeah.
just not.
Well, I mean, today it's technological age. I mean, it's instant gratification. It's your tablet, your iPhone. I mean, a guy playing right field in Little League. I mean,
Leonard, I echo your sentiments there because I've always said baseball is a cerebral game, and that's the excitement for me. Is every pitch is a different scenario if you know the game of baseball. But younger folks, it's all about instant gratification, and
I'm not knocking it. That's just an evolution.
You don't get that from baseball.
No, that's just an evolution. That's why I say the Latin players are going to save MLB. Within the next decade, I don't know. Your numbers are what you said?
They're about 30%.
Well, they'll be
right
over
now.
50% in 10 years.
Might be.
Well, I don't know. More than might be.
Well, that's quite a jump. But one thing they have to do, Leonard, if they are going to dominate the sport, is you're going to have to learn to speak English. Now,
Well, I mean, some do, some don't. But
Vladimir Guerrero never, ever took the time to learn English.
What about his kid? Same, he doesn't.
Boy, Vladdy Jr. on Toronto or in the farm, is he up with the big club?
Yeah,
no,
he's in AAA.
He's one of the top prospects. I don't know.
I don't think
Aforementioned Juan Soto on the Nats we talked about did a diligent effort to learn English.
didn't seem to hurt Vlad's entrance into Cooperstown.
No, but I'm saying you can, if you're looking for money and more prestige, it's nice to learn the language.
I agree. But I
And
mean,
let me ask you this, and I'll throw this right back at you. It has destroyed the LPGA. The South Koreans dominate golf, and you can't even interview the winner because they don't speak English. And that's something I have not brought up. That has been brought up numerous times.
Well, I know where you're headed with that. And obviously, I mean, you can't exclude the Asians because of their talent. I mean, you can't hold that against them. And I know what you're saying. Probably the viewership in America would prefer to see white Caucasian young ladies perform at the level that a lot of these Asians do. That's understandable, but I'm a big, believer in evolution. This is nothing but evolution.
But I'm just making a simple point of they should be able to do interviews to really get to know these folks.
Yeah, but you can't expect somebody who's 19 or 20 years old to be ready to do interviews yet.
But they should be taking English classes if they're going to work here.
Well, I'm more interested in whether they can hit, throw, and catch right now. And if they want to learn English, so much the better. But I think it's healthy for MLB. It brings in a much bigger audience. I mean, on TV. I mean, with the advent of dish networks and things, they're watching ball games in the Dominican. They're watching ball games in Central America. They're watching them in Venezuela. Well, maybe not Venezuela.
But that's not good numbers, Leonard. These folks don't have money. They don't spend money.
No, but they love their baseball.
But big deal. If you're earning $5,000 a year and you're watching a commercial for Cadillac, they're not going to rush out and buy a Cadillac.
I'm just
the
saying.
biggest detriment is the African American not playing. That has hurt baseball more than the Latins helping baseball.
Well, I'm not buying into that right now, but I just think the Latins are saving MLB.
Really?
I've never seen so many. I'm using a little hyperbole here, but I'm only 14 months away from 70 years old, and there's been a lot of good young ball players, but boy, we've got a great crop right now. Oh, I mean,
Well, you're excited because you have
no,
a
but
stack.
these guys are coming up hitting fastballs that are 95, 98 miles an hour, which the good young players 20, 30, 40 years ago didn't have to do.
Okay. But that begs the question, why every season is Major League Baseball breaking the all-time record for most strikeouts in the season? You are seeing undisciplined batting.
Not Atlanta. Atlanta is a team that has struck out the least in Major League Baseball.
Well, of course, somebody has to be the least, but overall, every year, and that's a fact, it's not an opinion, that, and I remember the first couple weeks of the season, Nick, it was such a high strikeout rate, and it goes unchallenged. Nobody sits them down and says, you can't hit, you need to go down to minor leagues. You're getting players striking out 200 or close to 200.
I've been meaning to talk about this issue for weeks. It's actually diminishing. I grew up, playing baseball. I love baseball.
Yeah, me too.
The strikeout situation is absolutely taking a toll on my interest in baseball.
I agree.
It seems insane to me, Leonard.
No,
200
I don't.
that is nothing.
I understand
no
what
problem
you're saying.
striking out.
And Duke,
I hate it.
Duke, let me say this. Nothing against a Max Scherzer
Yeah.
or a Chris Sale,
Yeah.
strikeout kings.
Yeah.
But it's a heck of a lot easier to strike somebody out in 2018 than it was 1968.
Right about that.
And you're seeing the game is not as good today, Leonard, as it used to be.
But
Nobody can bunt. Nobody steals
No,
anymore.
right.
Nobody sacrifices anymore. The true game of small ball is not there. If you've got a couple good starters and you've got some guys that can launch the ball,
You put Mickey Mantle in today's game, he's going to strike out a lot.
Mickey Mantle struck out a lot
Back then.
But
now he's going to strike out more.
Yeah.
Because you're facing guys that throw so
Leonard,
hard.
it wasn't that many years ago. If you touched Nutty on the radar, you were a flamethrower. Now the guy
they're
the guy the other day hit 105 miles an hour on the jugs.
And you wonder why there's more strikeouts. And plus, you get these umpires behind the plate. Some of them, you watch them some nights, they'll give you that much off the plate for a strike.
So, Leonard, let me ask you this question. Why is a pitcher able to throw 5 miles an hour more today than they did 15 years ago?
I just think physiology-wise, they're in better shape.
Run faster.
It's
whatever.
just, again, goes back to one of my favorite words in the vocabulary, is evolution.
I thought you were going to say
Things have
evolution.
evolved.
Yeah.
Why have we reached where we're at tonight as opposed to Neanderthals? It's evolution.
But don't-
It evolved.
Yeah. See, I agree with the Duke on a large part. Like, base stealing to me is probably one of the most exciting things in
It is,
baseball.
but you've got catchers that can throw. You've got
a lot
some.
of guys don't run because they don't want to get hurt. And that's the simple truth.
Managers and GMs don't want them to run because they get hurt.
Exactly.
And
But
why,
you gotta-
why you see players sliding hands first? Isn't that insane? I see that all the time.
Good way to get
still.
hurt.
Isn't
Leonard,
that crazy?
remember we used to talk about the ultimate baseball player, the 30-30 player. Doesn't happen anymore, let alone a 20-20 player.
Now, how about I think the ball is a little more dead this year. Seems to be. Fewer home runs. I haven't looked it up, but I think there are fewer home runs in baseball than there probably was at this time last year.
Red Sox are not helping that trend.
No.
I haven't looked that up, but there doesn't seem to be the number of home runs that were.
Speaking of
Reds each have
strikeouts,
16, right?
Go ahead.
This is a recent Wall Street Journal story again on striking out at a record clip. Reference for the first time ever, Major League batters strike out more often than they record hits.
Isn't that something?
The ultimate distillation of the realities of modern baseball, where power on both sides of the ball reigns. Here's a stat. This is going back a bit. Heading into Monday's slate, this was that's a May 1st story, not that long ago. The final 11 scheduled contests on the April schedule, hitters had whiffed 7,163 times. They had collected 6,808 hits. Nearly 35% of all plate appearances this season have ended in a walk, strikeout, or home run, up from less than 29% 10 years ago.
Well, I think you have to lay some of that at the foot of the improvement in pitching.
Yeah. There wasn't good. There wasn't. God, there's a reference
Well, they
to
weren't
Bob
throwing as
Gibson
hard.
here.
Hey, Nick, if I can use Leonard J.
Yeah,
Parent's
so you
word,
think quality of pitching
if
is better,
Leonard's
Leonard?
talking about evolution and the evolution of
I'm not
pitching,
sure- I'm not
what about
sure
the
I'm-
evolution of hitting? If pitchers can improve, pitchers can improve, and a lot of these players have their own batting cages in their own house.
Leonard, I'm not sure I'm buying that. I'm not sure. Quickly, just anecdotally, just thinking of all the pitching, all the folks I saw growing up, and you talking about your Braves a couple decades ago. I'm not sure I'm buying that. I'm struck by pitching being better.
I just think there's
It's faster.
more guys,
They pitch obviously faster, obviously.
and they have sliders.
I'll tell you what,
Yeah.
Leonard, I would like to see right now the Atlanta Braves, 3 Hall of Fame pitchers during the same era
Oh,
of
they'd still be
Smoltz,
good. They'd still be good.
Maddox,
It's still be very
and
good. I agree.
the left-hander.
Maddox, his fastball.
Glavine. No, my question is
Billerica
this:
Mass.
they'll be very successful in this era. But how many strikeouts per 9 innings did Glavine, Smoltz, and Maddox have compared to today? I bet probably
Six,
They
7.
probably, that would be
maybe.
my, Chris Sale and Max Scherzer, they're up around 11 and a half per 9 innings.
And look,
That's
what
insane.
about Craig Kimbrell? Every other batter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, he's been doing that since 2011.
Yeah.
But I quick glance, not based on anything in front of me, but boy, when you say pitching, I'd say hitting. I just think hitting's gotten
Dude.
so less disciplined and worse,
It really
for lack of
has,
a better
Dude,
word.
my
Everybody's
biggest
pitching
frustration
defenses on every
is
pitch.
that runner at third base with less than 2 outs.
Talk about
You
driving
hit a
me
ground ball
crazy.
to second or fly ball. That's it. Let's get that run. Okay, they strike out. They strike out.
But something we haven't mentioned that is new, based on when we were.
Oh, by the way,
kids,
you're not getting paid for this appearance. I
understand.
just want to let you know that. Go ahead.
But you can
is
have you
the
want some
thing.
water?
The
Or give me
thing.
some of my
The
water.
thing that the hitters back in our day didn't have to put up with were shifts. You know, they talked about this
Leonard,
year
you're
outlawing
driving me nuts
shifts.
So how about hitters using half a brain and
I
bunt for a
agree.
hit
I
every
agree.
time
They won't do
up?
it.
Leonard, why?
Just lay a bunt down.
I would be
They're not
I
disciplined.
would be the first guy since Ted Williams in 1941 when he hit 402. I would be a 400 hitter. But I say that every night watching baseball. The whole side of the field is wide open. But get on base.
yet you're hearing
because
people-
even a good hitter will only home run 5% of their time.
Do you have a call, by the way?
I
didn't mention
don't think so.
Okay.
I think we're.
But, and I don't say this often.
I'm gesturing at
Right.
you.
I think
maybe
I
he's
can do
gesturing
it.
at
Okay.
you.
I don't agree with Duke all that often, but I do agree with him as much as I love baseball. Today's baseball is not as good as it was a generation ago.
The strikeouts.
Now, are they better
absolutely
athletes?
affecting
Easily, because the catches you see in the outfield are incredible. But the strikeouts have I don't want to say destroy the game, but diminished the game.
Yeah, I think that's
definitely
fair.
bothering me big time.
Well, in a lot of stadiums, there's a lot of empty seats.
The in-game attendance is good because there are always diehards like us that will pay the $230. No problem. But the problem is guys like him, and he's a rarity. He is a sports fan. But you look at baseball ratings, it's just a sliver is what it used to be 40 years ago. And I don't care how many channels you have, because if the Red Sox or Yankees are playing tonight, and you're a fan, screw the other 250 channels. I'm watching my Yankees and my Red Sox, and a guy like Nick is an anomaly, and that's Mr. Anomaly right here.
High praise for
Well,
you.
anyway, the following Wednesdays I will be a full-time golf league member, so I wanted to come in.
Is there no golf tonight?
No, I had my work today,
Oh, you
so I
were
couldn't play.
Working guy.
I couldn't play, and so I was in the area, and I knew you were at 6:30, so I thought I'd just come on in, and
You're looking
so
good. Sorry I didn't.
yeah,
that's
well,
great.
you know, I said, hey.
And again, do not expect a stipend when you walk out
Oh,
of here.
no. It's been fun. I love your new studio. It's great. It's just a wonderful place to work at, I can see. And
I trust you'll log some official time here at some point, Leonard. I know you make
oh
a
yeah, well,
cameo
you know,
appearance every once in
I'm not a
while.
regular, as you know, in terms of live appearances. But when the
in a
weather
while.
gets colder,
I'll tell you, we've been doing this 15 plus years. One of my all-time favorite shows about a year and a half ago. Duke was on vacation. Dave was gone. I had you and Fitzy on that night. I
Sounds
had
like a
people
good show.
calling me.
I remember watching that
people
show.
called me and say, "Wow, what a great show that was!" Yeah,
Thank
you're
you,
okay,
thank you,
Leonard.
Locke.
and right here, I was the first guy to say the Giants would draft Saquon Barkley.
Right.
And with that, I bid you good
Yeah.
night.
And I did tell
Leonard.
Leonard he was nuts, but
Yes.
he was right.
See you, Len.
Okay.
Take care,
Yeah.
guys.
Okay, so who in the heck does Leonard J. Parent think he is? Bob Hope? Bob Hope used to pull this crap on Johnny Carson all the time.
Is that right? Is that would he just walk on this?
Bob Hope used to walk on the set
Did he really?
about once a month.
He was probably the one guy who could do that.
Yeah, and you couldn't say anything negative
Well, I'm
about
not.
Bob Hope.
I watch zero late night TV, but I'd probably kill for Johnny Carson coming
I
back.
don't watch any
I'm
late
sure.
night.
I'm sure you don't
but
because
Johnny
of the
Carson,
politics is out of
right? It's all
crazy.
liberal
But
politics.
But aside from politics,
But
I
Johnny
never
Carson
watched those
was
guys.
the best television in the world. So Leonard gets me going all the time. But Duke, and again,
That's I meant to.
him and I have been
strikeouts.
friends
I had this story in front of me last week.
for 40 plus years. And like I said, we agree to disagree on a lot of things. But again,
Probably politics in particular.
right. But baseball,
the
and
strikeouts
I'll
are
watch
insane.
every game.
Yeah.
Unless I'm on vacation, DVR it, and the Nats play today. Don't tell me the score, but I don't know the score. I'll be watching it tonight.
Oh, you're lucky. I didn't tell you the score.
No,
so I just had it on my
no,
phone.
no, I'll kill you. I'll beat you up in the parking
Don't
lot.
do that. Don't tell them.
But it is not enjoyable. And
Yeah.
you're what, 19, 20?
19.
19.
Yeah.
I mean, what say you? Have you noticed a difference since you were a kid?
Not really. I mean,
See, you grew up, what, was it 20 years ago, the steroid era, that
well,
faux, F-A-U-X,
Yeah.
home run race between Sosa and McGuire. It was nasty. There was like a 15-year period that all baseball records should be burnt.
yeah. Yeah, pretty much the first baseball I started watching was around the time the Red Sox won in 07.
Yeah,
And so I have about 10 years of
yeah.
baseball watching. But
And your interest is about where it's been. I mean, always pretty high. I mean, you're into baseball.
yeah, I'm into it. I mean, I'm not going to sit down and watch every game.
Yeah.
Simply because, I mean, the Red Sox are going to play every night, with the exception of a few off days.
Yeah, pretty much.
If the Bruins or the Celtics or the Patriots are on, I'm going to watch that game instead because they play once every 3 days or once every week.
Yeah.
Bud, you ever hear of a DVR? You record, see, I
Nick,
watch,
nothing, Nick,
I
don't
can't-
feel bad,
I
nothing
watch
bad.
a lot of my games at 1 o'clock in the morning.
I can't do that because I have my phone set up to send me notifications every
Here,
time.
give me
I
that
don't do
phone.
it, just
I have a
do it.
hammer at home. I can destroy that phone
I
for
don't
you.
do it. I'm lucky. Can I read a little more on this
Like,
about
I'll just-
Well, I
strikeouts?
just
I'll
have
get a
one question for
notification.
Nick.
So
Okay,
the Red
Nick,
Sox
let me
game's
ask
about
you,
to start
19
against
years
Tampa
old.
Bay.
In your generation group, how many folks watch baseball? I mean, how many
not
times do you
many.
guys sneak a beer
Is that right? Not
and
many?
start talking baseball?
Not a whole lot. I mean, and you look at even like playing baseball, the numbers are down throughout the state. I'm sure you've heard about that from
Hawk and I
Roy.
mentioned that forever. Growing up playing baseball every day of our summer lives.
Yeah, I mean, 2 years ago we were bringing 10 people to the games.
Yep.
And so I mean, it's down everywhere. Like not a lot of people are going to watch it.
Some of
Not
my
a lot
favorite
people are
young
gonna play it.
adult memories. Duke and I played on the same.
Oh yeah,
My
definitely.
early years
Softball
up
team.
here, that was a huge part of my early
You played
Franklin
up in the
County
Enosburg
tenure.
League to boot.
Kevin's Corner.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. The field up on Route 242 up by Jay Peak. Out of curiosity, I know there's some co-ed games down at the Bay Park. Nice fields down there.
Yeah.
Could you be playing softball if you wanted now? Are there teams out there?
There
if you
are no
wanted to
leagues,
play?
Duke, in Franklin County.
that right?
Men's league, none.
Isn't that
Really?
unreal? How many teams were there years ago, Hawk? A million.
Well,
Jeez.
St. Albans had a league. Swan/Highgate had a league. Enosburg had an
Enosburg.
extremely strong league. In early May, when before the season started, trying finding a field to practice
Right.
on.
It was tough.
Yeah.
It was impossible. And I see guys now that we play against, and like we always say, we don't remember. Well, we kind of do who beat us, but we don't remember. But we remember the friendships and the competitiveness we had, and we laugh about it. And we had such a good time. And I'll tell you what, I would not want to be 19 years old right now.
Yeah, there's not really.
I mean,
much.
I'll tell you another thing I did. And my good buddy Joe Whittemore, who I golf with all the time, we bowled together for a great number of years on the Tuesday night
Is that right?
men's
For
league, right at
years
the
and
St. Albans
years.
Shopping Center.
Yeah.
Is bowling my favorite sport? Of course not. But it was sure fun in the wintertime to get out of the house and grab a cold one and just shoot the breeze. And where in the hell's the bowling alley?
For
It's
the
the
record,
14 star.
I did finally, for the record, bowl at the Dairy Center. Dairy Center still has bowling. You didn't even know that, I assume. I took Ian over there some months ago. We had a good time.
Yeah.
Kudos to Lee's for hanging in. I guess the only bowling in Franklin County, right? I'm not missing anything.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
But,
a lot of people go to Williston nowadays.
Yeah.
I know if I've ever got friends that want to go bowling, we have to go all the way down.
Colchester
Their
has
lane's
got
right
it.
near
Colchester,
Costco,
yeah.
also in
Yeah.
Colchester. Burlington,
when
or
I
South
say
Burlington.
here, and I always told myself I was never going to turn into get off my lawn kind of guy. However, as Leonard say, evolution happens. And I just lost my train of thought. Speaking of being old, forget it.
Can I go back to strikeouts for a second?
Yeah.
This is again the same Wall Street Journal Don't think of it as sports. They got a good sports story every day. Again, this is May 1st, striking out at a record clip. Major league batters are whiffing more often than they record hits. Again, I mentioned that same sentence by Jared Diamond. Great name for a guy writing it. But there's a little more from that story. Home runs and strikeouts aren't inherently bad for baseball on their own. MLB Commissioner Rob Manfred and Union Chief Tony Clark have both pointed out that fans generally enjoy those plays and consider them exciting. But taken together, these are alarming numbers, signaling a potential crisis-level event as balls in play continue their descent into endangered species status. Fewer balls in play means more dead time and players standing on the field not doing much. Is a product difficult to sell to new fans. Quoting Manfred, where it gets troubling from a fan perspective is tons and tons of strikeouts, no action, lots of pitching changes. That combination is troubling to me. Just a little more. The current issue isn't that teams can't scratch runs across. Overall run scoring is almost identical to this time last season, and actually above that of the Aprils from 2011 through 2012, thanks largely to the rise of the homer. Anyway, the strikeouts are taking their toll on me.
We've talked about, Nick, back in the 70s, average time of a baseball game, I believe, was 2 hours, 18 minutes.
Is that right?
Wow.
Okay? TV commercials were only 2 minutes back then. But start of the game, and for the most part, finished the games. And if they didn't finish, it was the ninth inning guy would come in. If you were in the
That's a big deal
bullpen
for
back in the
somebody
day
to
when
know.
we were young, it just simply meant you weren't good enough to be a starter.
Yeah.
Okay. What gets me every night, and again, I DVR, I can fast forward, is Nick Mumley's at the plate. Well, let's take a real player, Nomar Garciaparra. When I think of him, do you know what I think of? Him coming out of the batter's box every pitch.
Right.
Undoing his
Perfect guy to
roles,
think.
yeah.
Yeah.
David Ortiz did the same thing.
And my feeling
Yeah,
is
plenty of
you should
company.
get one opportunity at an at-bat to get out of the box. That's it. Okay. So you already take it. You got a bumblebee around your nose.
Yeah.
Tough luck. Get stung. Pitchers. There's some pitchers. I'll tell you a quick picture. He pitched briefly with the Red Sox. Doug Fister.
Yep.
Now with Texas,
He's
back
with
with
the
Texas.
Rangers. He would get ball and throw it. A pleasure to watch.
And Chris Sale, I actually watched. I rarely
Yeah.
watch a majority of a Red Sox game. I actually watched most of last night because Chris Sale is so easy to
Yeah.
watch. Aside
Yeah.
from the strikeouts,
Yeah.
he gets the ball, he throws it. Some of these pitchers just try another thing. David Price, a lot of pitchers when things aren't going well. Pomeranz and stuff, they get so ridiculously so it's insane. That's another huge drag.
Yeah, and again, criticize us, call us old fogies. I don't care.
that's fine.
But when the Knicks of the world, his gang, his crew, don't watch baseball, and again, forget baseball attendance in the ballparks. They will always get their hardcore people to shell out the bucks. Now, I mentioned Leonard about African Americans. Okay, you watch a baseball game, you can't see an African American.
Make that point about Boston, but Boston's got plenty of company.
Right. Duke and I were at a Red Sox game a few years ago, and I said, Duke, I said early game, says there's not one African American in the ballpark.
We had to look
Bottom
really
of the
hard.
sixth inning, he gives me an elbow. Hey, Hawk.
Black guy.
Okay. That's what they comprise 13.5% of the population. I don't care what Leonard says about the line. Sure, they're great players and all that, and they're watching down the Dominican. Again, if you're earning $5,000 a year, they're not going to rush out and buy that Cadillac. It's like 60 minutes, okay, in golf. You're going to get a Cadillac's really high price.
I'm struck by the same thing. I catch women's tennis. My April trip down south, catch a great women's tennis tourney in Charleston, where I usually see one of the River Dogs games, the Yankees affiliate, full season, single A. And I'm struck there too. And again, Charleston's a hot city these days. Real estate's gotten real expensive. North Charleston, is where a lot of folks live who can't afford good old Charleston now. But again, I'm struck at the same thing at the River Dogs game. They do a great job, beautiful ballpark, a lot of promotions, but boy, precious few black faces here. And, we're talking South Carolina. It's probably a third black. It's just I'm just sorry and cheese, folks. And that's not big buckos here. It's $8 to get into the game.
And
But I'm struck. It's just a really white crowd.
Is this. if you don't play the game as a kid,
Yeah.
whether you're good, average, or not all that great, the enjoyment of the game, you understand the game. There's a lot of nuances. I don't have to tell you this, guy. To baseball, it's not just throw ball, hit ball. There's a lot more involved. It's like ice hockey. Well, they're not going to be playing much ice hockey in Mississippi, so the ratings
for
down
the
there.
record, North Charleston, which I just mentioned, does have a fairly high minor league team.
Right, and the high ratings are always obviously New England and the northern tier of the U.S.
Canada. Yeah.
So, but it helps to play. But and again, just driving by Alder Street in the city, how many times do you see kids just playing pickup ball for the hell of it? You never see it.
Yeah.
So that's so. I do have a couple Red Sox questions, and it's well, bring Mookie up in a second. But Blake Swihart, we talked about over the winter. What are we going to do with the Blake? He's requested a trade.
Nothing.
You can't really do anything.
His trade value is not all that great right now. Are they going to try to trade him?
His agent. I mean, hard. I don't think there's Nick. What do you think? I don't think there's probably a ton of value for him and stuff.
Well,
I mean, he's insurance. The best thing is for the Red Sox if Sandy Leon or Christian Vasquez go down. I mean, having another catcher who seemingly can hit, but I feel bad for the guy.
He's out of minor league options.
Which is why he's in the situation.
But let me ask you this, and you guys are the Red Sox fans. Sandy Leon's hitting 214. Christian Vasquez is hitting 193.
Yeah.
Are you telling me Swihart doesn't? Swihart's hitting 133 at only
Leon
30 at
gets
bats.
very good words, which you probably know.
He's a good defender.
The pitchers love him.
Right, he used to play with the Nats. He's a good
his
defender.
ERA with the pitchers is maybe almost a run less than Vasquez, who has a good rep as a catcher. I think defensively, they're probably well ahead of Swihart.
Yeah,
and
that's why
defense
they've
is
got
what
Swihart out in
counts.
the outfield now.
Last time they threw Swihart and left, of course, he ran into the wall and was out for a year. Yeah. It's a tough. I feel bad for the guy. For the Red Sox, he's kind of insurance, but I feel bad for him.
Well, the bad thing is when you're a young player like that, playing on one of the best teams in baseball is pretty tough.
Of course,
with the
another
highest
issue is
payroll.
Pedroia may be back Friday. When Pedroia comes back, they got to
Yeah,
lop
that's why
somebody
the guy
off. So
that's gotta
maybe
go down.
they
There's
may
not really any
even
other
put him out
option.
for assignment. I'm not sure they can get a trade.
Exactly.
Yeah, I think that's what's going to end up happening, and he's just going to get waived.
But for the record, I feel bad for the guy. Sounds like he's worked hard. I like him. Looks like he can hit. I don't know what.
And my other question is JBJ. He's hitting a solid 176.
For the record, did he have two? I think he might have. Actually, I saw one or two hits from him last night, but horrible hitting.
Now, how long are they going to stick with him? Because obviously Mookie can play center, and you can put some.
Well, what they've done is put him on the bench and put JD
Martinez
in the
is playing
outfield.
more in the outfield than they thought he would, just because. So that's actually one
then
benefit.
you have Moreland who can come in and be the DH.
And Moreland's not getting
right. Thank you for bringing Moreland up. We talked about him a lot during the winter after they got Martinez. I think Moreland's hitting around 315.
Having a very good year. Great defensive first baseman.
Within the top 5, both leagues, defensive first baseman.
Yep.
I love a good defensive first baseman. So he's played really well. What a bargain. He's only getting $6.5 million a year.
I guess you can say these are problems that a lot of teams would kill for, but I feel bad for
I remember
Swihart.
one show we were talking about Red Sox had too many players, and you said, don't worry about it. Things generally have a way to work themselves
They do.
out.
They haven't so much yet, but
my other
they
question
do.
to you, and we were posing this question a lot during the winter, Hanley Ramirez
is not going to get his what did he need?
495 at bats. Will
not going to.
He's playing,
and it sounds like he's fine. It sounds like he's actually been a good. He sounds like he's having a good time with a good team and stuff. Yeah. He's not getting those at bats.
So they're going to make sure he's not.
I'm not sure they're going to make sure. I mean, I think Cora. I'd like to think Ramirez. Cora seems like a pretty straight shooter. Cora pretty much is, hey, if you earn your playing time, I'll get you out there. JBJ, you can really question, does this guy deserve any playing time? But
what if the Red Sox run into the scenario where they're hit by the injury bug?
Yeah.
First of
Which
August.
is bound to get injuries.
And then Hanley has to play,
Yeah.
and then he goes over that
I don't think
495.
I mean, maybe I'm being naive. I think he'll play as much as they think he should play. Maybe I'm being totally naive about that, especially with their embarrassing financial situation of what, 237 mil? Talk about, it must be nice to be able to spend whatever money you need to spend.
And that's one thing I've always harped about the Dodgers for the last half dozen years. They're up to $280 million a few years ago. Yes, they were. They're under 200. But that's why I always scream for the salary cap. It's an unfair advantage the Red Sox had. They went out and got Martinez.
I totally
and
agree.
Martinez is doing exactly what he'll get us 45.
And for the record, I went on record saying I didn't even, just because of the embarrassment about how much they were already paying, I said I don't want them to sign him. I think they have a pretty good team without him. For the record, am I unhappy he's on the team? The guy looks like a great guy, great player, he's having a great year. But I just want to acknowledge I didn't want them to sign him, but hey, I guess I'm happy they did.
Obviously, the Red Sox and Yankees are fighting not to be the wild card team. Obviously, they're each going to make the playoffs.
I give Yankees advantage, but the Red Sox may stay even with them.
Exactly.
Two very good teams.
Well, let me throw this stat at you. That's the best part about baseball is stats.
Oh, yeah.
And, of course, I've got so much.
While you're looking for that, can I mention just we love talking closers and stuff. Last night, again, I'm sure people would have gotten, what? They didn't let Craig Kimbrell close last night. Sale's pitching a good game. Just concerned about his end of the season stuff. You get, maybe give him an off day once in a while. Anyway, pitching a very good game. Leaves with what, 2 guys on, 2 out on the bottom of the 8th inning, and Mr. Joe Kelly comes in, who's been unhittable. Strikes out the 1 guy to finish the 8th. But of course, this is Kelly, who's been unhittable, literally. He's given up 1 run in his last 20 appearances. He pitched to 1 guy in the bottom of the 8th. Could he have dealt with the 9th inning? I'd say way more than easily. But of course, they bring in Craig Kimbrell, who I'm very high on. And hindsight's 20/20. I'm freaking out because Steele keeps running into no decisions. That game a few weeks ago, pitched 9 innings, struck out 13, something like that. Gets a no decision. He gave up a late homer, leaves with a 3-3 game. But I feel bad for Steele because he gets a bunch of these no decisions when he's pitching a good game. Anyway, they bring in Kimbrell last night. I'm freaking out. Bases loaded. I'm saying, oh no, not another no decision. Are they going to blow this game? Fortunately, Kimbrell got the last guy. The Red Sox win 4-2. But I mean, geez, it's so regimented. Had Cora let Kelly pitch the 9th inning, you can just hear, hey, is Kimbrell? Are they losing confidence in Kimbrell? I can imagine the stories that would have come out. But wouldn't that have been a good case? Kelly pitched to 1 guy in the 8th. Let him finish the game. But I didn't cross your mind.
I have low value on the closer because it's
we
not
know
the
your feelings
important
about closers.
part. Because Kimbrell is great. As you said, he strikes out every other batter. I would save him
He's
as my
had some
fireman.
shaky times. He's had a good year, but he's
And again, I will say this every other week on the show. The 2 innings, the most runs it scored are the first and the 6th inning.
The first inning was top.
Now, what happened the other day? Tampa.
Look, I thought of it. Didn't somebody? Was it Tampa?
They
started with their relief pitcher.
Joaquin Soror? I can't remember. Soror. He started 2 games in a row.
Wow.
They stole that idea. You've heard of closers, right? As 2 years ago, I brought up it's the time now for the opener because you're facing the 1, 2, 3 on the whip. Your phone just went off. You owe me $10.
I'm sorry.
Okay.
Not too loud though.
A whip, an average whip is about 1.25. Okay,
Is that right? That's an average.
Meaning 4 guys will come to the plate, and those are your 4 top hitters. So I would put an opener. That's all you have to do is pitch the first inning. You get the second inning. Your starter comes in, and he's starting with the 5th hitter. That's the way it should be. Now, let me ask you something. You know a lot about baseball, smarty pants. Who's the leading save leader in the American League this year? Go ahead, Nick.
In the American League?
And you can ask your buddy over there, too.
No clue. If it's not Kimbrell, no clue. And I don't think it is Kimbrell.
I don't think it is Kimbrell.
You are correct. It is not Kimbrell.
No clue.
Edwin Diaz. I just gave it. So who was he pitched for? Go ahead, Duke.
Can't tell
Nick?
you. No clue.
See, I'm telling you. You can take your mother.
Seattle?
He does pitch for Seattle. Okay. Let me give you the top 5 save leaders in the American League. These big vaulted names.
But it's still Hawk.
It's an inning that they pitch with nobody on base. Okay.
Well, maybe nobody on base.
Okay. Nobody. I'd say 90% of the time.
Typically, I guess.
Right.
I guess
Edwin Diaz is first. Kimbrell, who we all know, is second. Shane Green is third. Just go ahead. What team?
Decent. Detroit.
Okay.
He's a decent pitcher.
Kevin Herrera.
Kansas City.
Yep. And Alex Colon.
But I still
Okay.
maintain it's still. I still think you don't give. I still think it's a very important position.
The guy
You minimize it
important to
way more
me
than
is
I
the guy
do.
that puts the fire out with guys
Yeah,
in base.
But Hawk, as
No.
soon as I heard that Tampa Bay started one of their. Believe me, I thought of you immediately and said, "Way to go, Hawk!" They
Now,
listened to
Gabe
you.
Kapler's is he the manager?
He's manager of the Phillies.
Oh, he's Phillies.
They've got
So
Kevin
who's the
Cash.
man? Kevin Cash. He, I think, played briefly with the Red
played
Sox.
for the
Kevin,
Red Sox,
briefly catcher.
In the National League, Wade Davis, who we've all heard of, he signed a big contract with the Rockies. Then 2nd through 5, Brad Hand, Urias Familia, Brad Boxberger, and Brandon Morrow. So, are you telling me these are the 5 best relief pitchers?
I'm not saying no.
Right.
I didn't use the word best. I'm just saying I still think you minimize the importance of having a good closer.
You're up. You're
I
up
mean,
5
your team's up, and you start blowing a lot of games.
Sure, but
nothing pains me more when my team, the Red Sox, when Kimbrel, a couple times this year anyway, blows a game in the ninth. It's incredibly painful.
yeah.
So I
But-
think it's still a very important
But you're up
position.
5-2.
Well, maybe
Come in
maybe you're up
and
3-2.
you get a statistic. Okay.
No, you may
now,
be up
Joe,
3-2.
Joe Kelly's had a great year this
Kelly's
year.
having a great year.
Great year. Okay. He's been the rock there. And nothing against Kimbrel, but I remember first series of the year, Red Sox.
No, the first game.
It was the first
Then
game.
they,
Yeah, first
then
game
they won
for
about
eighth
16.
Inning, right?
Ah,
And
so painful.
right, where was Kimbrel that game?
There were, I mean, a bunch
That
of
was
relief
Kelly
pitchers
that
screwed
blew
up.
that
Kelly
game.
screwed
Yes,
up. Kelly
right.
came in and walked a couple guys.
Yeah.
That to me, I mean, there's nothing more painful to me. So I still won. I mean, I understand your point. There's something to it, but you know, a good closer is still to me a very important pitcher to have.
Yeah. So let me tell you something about the Red Sox and the Yankees. Okay. If you talk to a Yankee fan, they're going to say they're a better team. If you talk to a Red Sox fan, they're going to say they're a better team.
I think the Yankees strike me as a slightly
Okay.
at least better
Now,
team.
the Houston Astros pitching,
Better team.
insane. Listen to their
Yeah,
team
the top
ERA.
5. Wow.
May 23rd,
Yeah.
their team ERA,
Under
this
three,
is
obviously. Yeah.
2.42.
That's unreal.
And Justin Verlander, it's got like a 1.05 ERA.
That's unreal.
Okay, that's just abnormal.
Yeah.
Okay, now the number 2 pitching, Red Sox. Number 3 pitching, Yankees. Now, as far as
All right.
runs, number 1, the Yankees. Number 2, the Red Sox.
Hmm.
Okay, I mean, even Steven, this team.
Yeah.
You know, with the Red Sox, I just have a gut feeling the Red Sox are going to stay.
I just have Pomeranz has been shaky
He's been
all
terrible.
year. David Price, I mean,
Terrible.
How much faith am I supposed to have in David Price?
Yeah, this was for Price this year. This was the make it or break it year for me.
I mean, for the record, he's coming.
I
He's
just-
coming off some
I can't
couple
do
of
it
decent.
anymore.
Actually, pitched a complete game the other day. Had a shutout until his.
Yeah.
What,
But you're
next to
stuck
last
with him,
pitch.
right?
Yeah, who's
He-
gonna?
he ha-
somebody-
he has an
You see
opt-out.
somebody gonna come in and jump
No.
and pay him 31
and
mil?
the thing too, Duke, even if he was the old David Price,
Yeah.
do you really want him in your locker room?
No.
Well,
Yeah,
you know,
he's
I'm,
been
I'm
a
maybe
bad-
being too. You know, maybe I'm being too hard. Maybe
The
this
whole
kind
thing
of
that
crazy
happened last
comments.
year was
Oh,
just
it was
the-
horrible.
It was- that
And
was
maybe
the end
you know,
of the
I'm not
line
hearing
for
a
me.
lot of bad stuff about him.
Yep.
Some people say, hey, he'll say some weird stuff once in a while, but don't
Weird
let
stuff.
that
That
throw
press
you off.
conference about playing video games is the reason.
Yeah, I hear you. But for the
Sure.
record, he's come. You know, who knows? Maybe. I mean, 2 years ago he did win 17 games with his 3.99 ERA. I don't mean to beat him up too much, but I don't have a ton of faith in him either.
Okay, so
he's
the
just
top.
So anyway,
bad
so
since
the
he
Red
went to
Sox,
Boston.
I don't have a. They're obviously a good team, but especially starting pitching, I'm not. You know, I'm not too.
The top
totally
3
enthused.
ERA leaders: Justin Verlander, 1.08, Houston; Garrett Cole, 1.86. Number 3, Charlie Morton,
Wow.
1.94.
Wow.
Fourth is our good friend Chris Sale at 2.17.
Yeah.
Who I would still bet on this date that he would probably win. And of course, to me, the best 2 pitchers in the league, and Verlander is quite old. He'll more than likely fade, but I do like him, is we like Cleveland's pitcher, Corey Kluber.
Kluber,
Kluber's very good.
And
Cleveland's got some good pitching too.
Yeah.
Cleveland's a
Cleveland's
good
got
team.
pitching.
And right, and I mentioned earlier on the show the best 3 teams in baseball: the Yankees, Red Sox, and Houston.
Cleveland's
And-
really not
And
that
you know
far
what?
behind.
I'm not sure
we
Cleveland's
can
far.
throw Cleveland in there, so I can make a pretty
That's-
good argument.
the American
that
League playoffs are gonna be
the
so
top
good
four
this year.
teams in baseball
all American
are
League.
American
Yeah.
League teams
Really?
because
Best team in the National League. Your guys, maybe.
not right now,
No.
but let me. Boy,
That's interesting. I
Get my
hadn't thought of that.
standings.
So there are no great National League teams.
No, there
is
isn't.
Arizona still?
No,
up there?
Yeah,
Arizona's
they've
but-
lost 7 in a row.
they're
I
a
think.
game
Wow.
over 500.
Oh.
right
They had a
okay.
good start.
The
I
Atlanta
remember a couple
Braves
weeks ago, they were.
Yeah,
are
the
leading
Braves
the
have
East.
Yeah.
Okay, they're having a good start. I don't think anybody in the
They'll
American
fade.
League is,
Yeah.
and the Brewers are playing pretty well.
Yep.
As they did last year at this time, they
Yep.
faded, and the Cubbies are 5 over 500. They'll get their act together.
Nobody- so nobody-
In the West,
Dodgers have been
the
terrible,
Rockies
right?
are leading the division.
Wow.
3 games over 500.
Dodgers
the West
well
has
under
been bad.
500, right?
Yep.
Dodgers have had a lot of injuries, and
They lost Bellinger for the year, didn't they?
No, he's
Or,
back.
They
He
lost.
just came back.
Who was the guy they lost for the year? The shortstop.
Corey
Seager.
Seager.
Yep.
or Kyle Seager.
Corey
or
Seager,
Corey, his brother plays for Seattle.
Yep.
Right.
Interesting.
So there's not even an argument. Cleveland, Boston, New York,
Really?
and Houston are so much better.
Yeah. If one of those 4 teams isn't the champion this year, I'd be really surprised.
Interesting.
Yeah.
There's really just not a whole lot going on.
You know,
in
the interest,
National
of course, the Red Sox and Yankees are half game apart. Then you go down into the Toronto's 10 out, Tampa's 10 out, and the aforementioned Baltimore Orioles are just pathetic.
And all three of
15
those
and
teams-
33.
Horrible team.
All
Yeah.
3 of those teams
With
are just really
with
bad.
with somebody Dave Haney will quickly say is about the best manager in baseball, Mr. Showalter.
Yeah, I can't see
Didn't-
Showalter staying
No,
in
big
Baltimore.
deal.
No, that's a pretty tough
Baltimore's
team.
Baltimore's got a clean house.
It might be time to bring in a 35-year-old manager in there.
Yep. I
Again,
mean, that's
the-
the way people are going, and it's been working for him.
The Red Sox, Chris Sale. I mean, obviously one of the best pitchers in baseball. The concern with him is just second half of the season. Of course, he had a horrible playoff game, but aside
Well,
from one
but-
game, but his stats just
but
regularly get much worse second half.
He was the unanimous Cy Young Award
he
winner.
had it for the first-
August 15th.
Sure.
Okay.
So the
But
concern is what
he
you
didn't
know.
pitch that well from the 15th to the end of the season. However, and I mentioned this a couple months ago, he didn't stink. His ERA instead
didn't-
around 2.5.
he didn't stink, but he was noticeably
He was
not
over
as good.
4. His ERA was over 4 the last 7 weeks.
So
of
what
the
do you
season.
do? Do you pitch him less? Do you give him an extra off day once in a while?
I'll be
They got
honest
to
with
be
you.
They got to
I'm
be
a-
wondering about that.
I'm a big picture kind of guy. If Chris Sale started the season,
Yeah.
the first 7 weeks with an ERA over 4 and still finished, he was around 2.95 last year.
Yeah.
Nobody would have remembered what he did in April, May,
Yeah.
and say, boy, that Chris Sale really came on.
But this has been his history.
Peaks and valleys, and that's the difference with the great pitchers, that they're usually not in the valleys all that much.
But what do you do? Do you not? I mean, hey Chris, take a couple of weeks off.
Well,
Hard to do that.
There's some teams that will
Seems
give,
like I might give him I might purposely give him an extra.
Right.
Once in a while,
You
give him an extra day.
like the young kid, Sean Newcomb, and this kid is
Yeah,
really good
in
for Atlanta.
Atlanta,
He was supposed to pitch Friday night. They want to save his arm, and so he's getting the extra day. So he'll be on 6 days rest. And again, it's funny because when we grew up, there were only 4 pitchers, and they all threw 300 innings a year.
What do you
Now
have?
you
Pitch a
throw
complete game.
200, you're a workhorse.
Yeah,
So-
that is weird. Huck, what about you're a huge football guy? I'm hearing all NFL, the new kickoff. Did that get your attention today? I know you
They
think
changed the
football's
national
going.
anthem.
Well,
too.
I read
know,
it.
and yeah, I know you were going crazy with the players. They made some
I
rules about
like
that.
that. I like the national anthem policy. I think that it
So you caught- I
works
mean, you
out
caught
for
that
everybody.
news, right?
I read a plethora of racist stuff from professional writers on the enslaved players, black players, and all that.
I was
Okay,
just hearing
I'm
about
sorry.
the new rules.
I will stand ground here. You don't disrespect the American flag. There's no reason. Okay.
So what do you think about the new rule? The players either, if you're going to kneel, stay in the locker
Yeah.
room. If you're going to come out and kneel, your team will get fined.
Listen,
Will
these
the
guys
team-
are
will
making
the
millions
teams
of
do
dollars.
anything to the players if they do
Don't
that?
take a knee. Let your checkbook do the talking. If you really care about social causes, take your pen out, get your checkbook out,
Right.
and go out without a photographer there
Right.
and
But what
quietly
do you
give
think? Will we still see some players taking
Well,
a knee, do you think?
There was one article. The owner of the Jets
Yeah.
said he will not obey the NFL rules. He will pay all the fines if any of the Jet players should take a
So
knee.
he'll
ridiculous, I mean-
tolerate that and just pay their fines? Is that what he's saying?
Yeah.
He'll tolerate, no
Yeah.
big deal to him?
Yeah. But look at our little friend Mikey Hall. He just got his second lieutenant pin over the
Good for him.
weekend.
Yeah.
And he heads down to Fort Knox. Great kid. He's serving our country, something
buddy
that
Joe's
I have
grandson,
never
yeah.
done.
Great kid.
I've never done any heavy lifting.
me.
Okay. You don't disrespect the flag.
No.
Listen, if you're working for me and you do that, I'm bringing you to my office and I'm giving you one more chance. So this is my policy. You don't do that. You don't like it? Here.
But do you think,
Yeah.
are you happy with it? Do you think
Oh,
this doesn't go far,
well,
I'm sure far enough
listen.
for you? You happy the league finally jumped
I think
in
it's a
now?
good compromise because I mean,
Okay.
at the end of the day, you're not going to get both sides to choose one way or the other.
You know
I mean,
who
there's
Roger
going to be
Goodell
the
is
left
looking at?
who's really mad about
I'm
it.
It's
sure.
guys like me, okay,
Yeah.
60 years old, a little bit of disposable income that will spend money.
Yeah.
And I'm the guy last year after the second week or maybe the third week of the season, other than the New York Giants, okay, I did not watch one single second of football, okay, because as big as a football
Yeah,
fan,
you're the-
and I'm an American flag lover
I
of
agree.
football.
People
Yeah.
like you're the guy he should
Yeah.
be concerned
And they
about.
better
That makes up a lot of the
they
NFL's
better
fan
start.
base.
And as I said, NFL ratings are down 18% the last 2 years. Any business that is down 18% is going to take concern.
Sounds like they didn't give a thought to. We've been talking about Thursday night football. Don't give us so much. Sounds like that didn't even cross your mind.
Yeah.
Yeah,
to
which
take
is
that away.
unfortunate.
Now,
because, I
some of
mean,
the complaints
it just leads
today-
to injured players.
Is the players union was not involved in the decision. Screw
that right?
you, players. Okay, you don't own the team. You don't own the team. You're a stupid employee. You follow the rules. You don't want to stand up during the anthem. Take a hike and start flipping burgers at McDonald's.
Yeah, these guys are privileged to make all this money a
And
year.
these guys aren't even college graduates. Okay, just because they went to college, trust me, they're. So
Yeah, it's
I wouldn't overgeneralize some of these.
I
guys,
would say, Duke, and I don't have the stat, I would say if I had to bet within 3%, maybe 8% of the people
That's all you'd
coming
say.
out
Are
have a
legitimate.
college
legitimate.
Right, absolutely.
Oh, yeah,
and
these
that
guys
may
are
be
bolting
overstating
as
it.
as fast as they
Right there.
can.
And
you
like
know.
I said, once football season, college football season's done, when they go to the Indianapolis Combine, they've been working out. Their season's done in December or early January if you're on the top team.
3
minutes?
You got your time.
Are you
can see
joking
your
me?
time up here, right?
Are you?
Minutes. Hey,
Okay, I can go all night. No, sorry,
that's
I
the
lost my train of-
first show in a while. I bet you could.
Yeah.
So, but to the kickoffs, the difference now on the kickoffs is you could line up 5 yards behind the ball and get a running start. Now
No-
you
no
only have
running, 1 yard.
1 yard.
Yeah.
So
That helps, I mean,
Dan
I
Patrick was saying
guess.
on his prayer, he thinks there'll be more. He thinks there'll be more kickoffs now. It may be ironic. Who knows? I'm not sure they're going to run into less injuries. But anyway, does this seem? Is this just kind of a football's going to be
it's
gone?
the last chance for the kickoff because as
Yeah.
we talked about pitchers throwing harder, these kickers can kick a lot
Aren't
further.
punt returns scarier than kickoff returns in light of injuries or not?
No, because kickoffs they have with the 5 yards. Now that will change. Now that's been the biggest detriment to football is when they brought the ball up 5 yards. That was to me the best part of football is you get a 5'8" guy.
But again, you can't have a wedge. I'm not even sure.
The wedge
It sounds kind of weird.
is out. So
But
their
anyway-
player safety.
Yeah.
But aren't you? I mean, aren't you in particularly? Aren't you thinking, okay, another 10, 20, 30 years, football is going to be gone?
But, yeah.
The way they make the way they're
Yes,
going?
because
Football
the
will be
statistics
gone.
are there with Pop Warner football.
Yeah.
Is the white player, the mommies aren't letting little Billy and Johnny play because my sweetie pie is going to get hurt.
Well, I mean, for the record, I mean, injuries are
And, I mean,
serious.
it's-
I mean,
yeah,
you
it's
know,
documented
When you
that
have
it's doing
stats
stuff
about
to
all
these
the
guys.
concussion, I mean,
But-
I wouldn't say that's
But for
like a
minor
crazy
football,
issue.
for minor football, it's not that great. NFL, it is. And
1 minute.
So 1 minute. Okay. So, boy, all my notes that I took a long time. I probably touched about 15% of them. Of course, Game 7 tonight.
We appreciate your research.
Yeah, well, thanks, dude. Washington at Tampa starts in about
I'll watch
5
that
minutes.
as much as the Celtics, I'll
Yeah,
tell you right now.
and the Vegas Black Knights.
What a story.
What a story.
We'll get into
Didn't even
hockey
touch
more
there.
next week.
So we'll get into that more. So
lot
that
for
is
next
it.
week.
Team Green here. This will conclude this edition of the Best Damn Sports Show in Franklin County. For our engineer, Mr. Zach, Young Nick, Old Duke,
Old Duke.
moderately Nighthawk here. And we will see you folks next week. And always remember this, you do not have to be a great athlete to be a good sport. Ciao for now.